Hey, it's Kristen and Bethany here with Girl Defined Ministries, and in today's vlog, we're going to be sharing with you 8 reasons we aren't feminists.
If you're familiar with our ministry, you know that we created Girl Defined to help Christian girls understand how to get back to God's design for their lives. Because really, girls as a whole don't understand why they were created, what their purpose is. So the entire purpose of our ministry is to get back to God's design for our lives as girls.
We're obviously both women, and so we are all for women. We believe that God created women to be unique and beautiful in our own way. And we also believe that God created men and women to be equally valuable, but purposely different. And the reason that we're not feminists and what we're about to share with you is because feminism at its core, and we know there are so many definitions out there, but at its core, feminism has tried to define womanhood on its own terms. It's not just about women's equality with men. It's about redefining womanhood altogether according to man's and women's terms, rather than how God defines our womanhood. So in this vlog, we want to share with you why we're not and really help us get back to what God's design is for womanhood.
One of my good friends, Erin Davis, who is a popular author, blogger, speaker, she wrote a blog recently called Why I'm Not a Feminist, and it was awesome. And she said, if feminism is simply the advocacy for women's rights based on the idea that we are equal to men, I'm a believer. In truth, feminism is the radical idea that women are God, capable of being their own authorities. So basically, if you want to accept and embrace all of the ideologies and thoughts that go along with modern feminism, you really have to reject so much of God's word. Yeah, there are good ideas here and there, but if you're going to embrace it as a whole, you really do have to become your own God and say, no, I'm going to define my womanhood. Sorry, God, I know better than you. This is what I need to happen. And Erin Davis is saying, nope, I'm not going to do that. God's my authority. And that's exactly what we're saying as well.
So here are 8 reasons why the two of us aren't feminists. Number 1, you become your own God. Like Bethany just said, no matter how much you really airbrush feminism, no matter how good of a light you paint it in, at its core, it truly is a religion of sorts. It's a worldview, it's an ism that is seeking to redefine womanhood according to our own terms. What we as women say we want when it comes to our sexuality, our identity, our beauty, our value, our worth, what we define in those areas is what we say goes, rather than saying, okay, hold up, what does God's word say? Now I'm going to align my life and my womanhood according to his truth.
And number 2, sexual liberation is praised. Believe it or not, but the majority of feminist women used to be totally opposed to pornography because they were like, that's objectifying women. We don't want that. We have standards. We have values. We want people to value our bodies. But nowadays, as you probably know, that is not the case. There are so many modern feminists who are proudly posing topless, who are proudly posing naked for the camera and saying, yes, we throw off the morals, throw off the boundaries, throw off the restraints. We want to do what we want to do. And we want to proudly show off our bodies. No more morals, no more boundaries.
And number 3, not all lives are valued. Women are the biggest proponents for life and women's rights and women's liberation and all of these things. But the crazy thing about the feminist movement, and honestly, very few mainstream feminists would disagree with this, is that women are all for abortion. Feminist is on the forefront of fighting for abortion and fighting for women's rights. But the sad thing is that in fighting for women's rights, we are okay with killing the smallest women in our country.